Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 49. Okay, Jonathan, today we're going to talk about WordPress backup services. In episode 48, we went into detail about backup plugins. Thought maybe you want to go over real fast, just name those plugins that you like. Are you going to tell us today which plugin you really like before you go into backup services?
I think the two leaders of the pack from the last episode are Backup Buddy and Updraft Plus.
Updraft Plus, we have that.
Yes, Updraft Plus and Backup Buddy are the two that kind of, and I chose the ones that I've used. I know other people use. There's a number of other ones out there. There's no shortage of backup plugins, but the two that, I've tried, I know, and I think offer the best balance of price with functionality are Backup Buddy and our Updraft Plus, our English developer,
right, which I use Updraft Plus, like it. So anyway, driving on, we need to get to this WordPress backup services. First of all, explain what WordPress backup services are as opposed to a backup plugin.
Well, I think basically, the plugin, you install a plugin and either you save your database or you save your database in your physical files. You can either save them on the server, which a lot of the free plugins do, which I do not recommend. I think if you get anything from these couple of podcasts that we're doing on Backup, Bill, is that I strongly advise people to have some system that's storing their backup away from the actual where their physical files are normally hosted. It just isn't a good idea to have a really important backup where your normal hosting, where your normal physical WordPress files are and the database. It's just not a good idea, Bill.
With your plugin, you just have to use Dropbox and you solve that problem.
Yeah, like what we discussed last week, a lot of them, it varies. Some of them, it varies. You can still store externally, but it's just a manual. You got to do the backup manually. Where you have to pay for the Premier, you get scheduling functionality. Some the cut-off between the free version and the paid version is that the free version only does backup on the hosting site, and you have to pay for the Premier to be able to store externally. It varies depending on the plugin, Bill. But the scheduling is really great, but if you can't afford to pay for that, having a plugin that you have to do it manually, but as long as it backs up externally is still good. What is bad is having a plugin system that only does it manually and then also only stores the files on that actual server. That is not our ideal situation, Bill. So let's move on to the services. So the services, basically, you normally have to install a plugin, but they're providing a whole kind of interface, a whole kind of SaaS system where they're offering not only backup but full recovery as well. And that was another factor when we were looking at the plugins. Some backup plugins, they do excellent, but they don't offer a kind of interface for recovery or migration. You have to do it manually, where the two that we recommended, if you go for the full versions, Bill, they offer sophisticated interfaces for recovery and migration. And that's what these services also normally do. And we're going to start with the big granddaddy of them all, in a way, and it's a company it's a division of Automatic, the parent company of WordPress. WordPress.com, and also has a strong affiliation with WordPress.org. even though WordPress.org is a foundation, one of the key corporate members of that foundation is Automatic. So they offer a service called WordPress, and it's a pretty slick service, Bill. I would say it's probably one of. I'm a bit reluctant to say this because I don't, but it's kind of like the Rolls Royce of backup systems, really. It's got a pretty slick interface for recovery. They have two levels. One of the cheaper levels about $9 a month, or you can pay $99. One of the things I haven't clarified is that some key functionality is not offered in their backup bundle, to my mind. If you want the full power of this, you've got to go up, and you've got to go up to what they call is their security bundle. But the part that they don't include, this might get a little bit confusing, but the part that they don't include in the backup bundle, which they include in the security bundle, is not really related to security, to my mind. It's the ability to have a full backup archive. That means it's a bit like Time Machine it's a kind of version of Time Machine that you find on the Mac, right? That enables you to go back and select certain files for recovery. It's really slick built, but they only offer this on the upper end, and that upper end is either $29 per site per month, or it's $299 per year. So those figures, you can't exactly say it's cheap, but if you've got a really, it's a bit like, I'm not doing it at the present moment, but I probably will be utilising this system for MailRite. And I probably will pay the $299 bill because it is the Rolls Royce. And if you've got a SaaS website and it's based on WordPress, which my SaaS company is based on that, I want total backup. I want total redundancy. So I have multiple redundancy systems, and this is probably going to be part of my array of backup. Did that make sense, Bill?
It does. I understand. And it's all scalable and based on your volume of your business and what you need.
Yeah, there's different solutions for different levels of business. But when if let's say I'm just starting to get clients and it's going the right way, and I have my ups and downs, but that's running a SaaS company for you. It's it's just an up and down, But, if I started, had a lot of clients, I would want a really top notch in my kind of quiver of backup.
Right.
This would be a key part of it. So the pricing, another one which I know a few people use is a company called CodeGuard, and it's a reputable company, and I know a few people that use CodeGuard, and they've got some really, they've got four main choices: Samurai, Ronnie, and Shogun is some of them. They're all based on Japanese kind of warriors or samurai or whatever. But they've got some nice price structures from $5, $39, $79, and $239. And there seems to be a bit of overlap between CodeGuard and WordPress. But their pricing, they seem to give more choice, but it does seem, I haven't used these people, but I know a couple of people that have, and they've used it as their final. They've gone for the $5 version, and it hasn't got everything, but it's almost been their final defense almost, where everything else failed. They've got this in the background for $5 a month, and I've known a couple of people it's really saved their backside, Bill. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely look at CodeGuard and look what they've got to offer if you're looking for a premier service backup rather than these plugins, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
or you could do both. You could have a plugin and also have WordPress or CodeGuard as a secondary kind of backup system, Bill.
Yep.
All right. And then one I really don't know a lot about at all is Blog Vault. I was doing research and I came across them. They've got a simpler pricing structure that is very attractive for what they're offering. They've got a basic plan and unlimited plans. But it's not a company that I know too much about, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of WordPress companies out there that I'm not aware of. One of the factors I want to point out, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything here, I'm just trying to put information in front of our audience, is, you might be concerned where your data's been stored. With WordPress and also with CodeGuard, they're US-based companies. With Blog Vault, it's an Indian-based company. So that doesn't mean they're not storing the data in a US data storage facility. I'm just pointing that out, Bill.
I don't know if that's racist when you talk about countries. Country is not really racist. No, you're talking about the security, and I have concerns of, especially in the Eastern Bloc countries, of having anything there. I certainly wouldn't have my work in China. It's not racist. It's just the performance of those areas. I've seen a lot of people in my business, working with those podcasters who are developing websites and some small business folks, lose their domain or have issues when they've gone out of country, especially to India, to build those sites and to host them.
Yeah, I think especially if you're dealing with business, and I think with some of these higher solutions that we're talking about, Bill, it is going to be somebody that's actually making money from there. Now, I say that, but everybody should be making money from the website. Even if you're a brick and mortar business, you should be getting clientele, and you should be using your website to drive people to your physical location. But then you got businesses, if their website was down, they would be considerably financially affected. And some of these higher solutions that we're looking at, it's those type of people that would probably look at these solutions, Bill. Yep.
The online business arena, there's some really good people, and there's good people all over the world in different places. So it's not that India could be bad, or everyone is bad. You've got to be careful. You can be scammed inside the United States too. Bottom line is, have a reputable person you can work with on your website, and wherever you host your website, make sure it is 100% reputable. Control your domain name. We're going back over basics here. You can always go back to the basics. Make sure that you have full control of your domain name. And then then you're talking about backups. That's a whole new ballgame about being attacked, so on and so forth. Something goes wrong. But we sort of sidetracked there. Get back to the good old backup stuff, but it's important. It's important.
It is.
And that's, go ahead.
And then I go on to one that does backup. It provides a dashboard, and I use it, and I use this as part of my service that I offer clients. It's managed WP, and it's what I use to manage my clients that utilize WP-Tonic services, and it's part of our backup system and restore system that I actually use for clients. And they're based in Chicago, and they provide great technical support, and I have the premier service level, and it's just a really fantastic service. And it's managed WP, and they do offer a free service where you install a plugin on the client site, but you can store in multiple cloud like Amazon or Dropbox or, or your own server. You can store it on another server, which is what we do. And with 2 clicks, I can restore a client site, and also I can go back in time as well. So it also offers a kind of virtualization. It's just a fantastic product. And they provide really good technical support if there is any issue. And I just found them really, really good. But I don't, I think that, like with WordPress, we're going into the more kind of professional, medium, higher business, the kind of individual that probably would look at this. If they're doing it themselves, they've probably got somebody in-house doing development, design, and marketing anyway, if you understand what I mean, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. They're big enough.
And then there's another one that does a very similar service to Managed WP that was highly recommended. And I looked at it and I am tempted. It's called CMS Commander. And their prices are more competitive than Managed WP, but I wouldn't say exactly that Managed WP is ridiculously overpriced. It seems a really good product.
Yeah, 30 websites for $50. That's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good. If they perform, got 5 stars.
It's getting back to that little conversation we had about India. One of the things is he doesn't, the developer of this, it looks like it's a one-man developer, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he doesn't really make it very clear. Obviously, you can store it anywhere, but he doesn't really tell you where the company's based. I presume because it's a German developer that the actual underlying company is based in Germany, but he doesn't make it. There's no company address. There's no physical address on the website. Where you go to Manage WP, they are registered. They're a US-based company and they're registered in Chicago, Bill. Right. It's really quite, or Virginia. I think it's actually Virginia. Actually, I apologise, folks. I think the chief developer lives in Chicago, but I think the actual company is based in Virginia. But the physical address there, you can look it up. They're based in the US, Bill. Unfortunately, CMS Commander, it's not so clear where they're registered. But they just provide the software. They're not providing the storage facility. You use Amazon, Google storage, or there's a host of solutions in there, Bill.
Yeah, I just Googled CMS Commander on WordPress.org.
Yeah.
So I'll see if there's anything up here. I didn't see anything on the website, though.
No, I didn't. You might be able to find something. You normally embarrass me, but you normally find what I can't find.
There's nothing on the website, but they've got a little bit more information on WordPress.org.
Yeah. So we've looked at some services that are alternative to plugins, but all these services will provide a plugin that you install, but then they provide a web-based interface where you can. The other factor is that these type of services that we've gone through so far, Bill, are really for people like yourself and other people that got multiple websites, and you want one kind of central interface to manage your recovery, your backup in one central interface, Bill.
Right. Yeah. By the way, I looked up Thomas Hofter, the person who developed the system. Yeah. And of course, he's out of Germany. And so you don't know where the server is, basically.
Well, he's not providing. I don't think I've made this clear. I think some of the earlier services, they actually provide storage. Where when you're talking about Managed WP and CMS Commander, that you store it on some cloud storage that you provide, that you have control over. Mm-hmm. So they're just providing the software, the web-based interface, where like they're providing a kind of SaaS solution, but they're not provided. I think they might provide some in-house solution, but you can store it on Amazon, like I say, Google, Dropbox. There's a host of cloud solutions, but those cloud solutions will be those cloud storage solutions will be under your control.
Right.
So it doesn't probably matter that they're not based, but if it's critical medical, you're running, whatever it is, it might become an issue, mightn't it?
Right. Anyway, so
I just thought, and then to finish off, we got a host of services that will manage everything for you. If you just can't be bothered with all this and you ain't got somebody in house that and you might have somebody in house, but people come and go. And you can fall out with employees, can't you? Sometimes it's a good idea to have people that you can rely on that are not totally involved in the day-to-day running of the business. And there are a host of companies that will keep your site secure, keep all the plugins, do backups, and also do some minor work on your site, all sorts of levels. And I'm just going to go through some of them.
We just got the 3-minute warning.
Right. So we've got WP Site Care. They're one of them that does support. You got WP Butler. You got WP Valet. Valet seems to do a lot of high-end stuff. That's just the impression I'm getting from the website. There's my own company that does a bit of this as well. So there's a few companies out there that are doing this type of. They will do everything for you. They will recover the site. They will keep it monitored. And
so in episode 50, we're going to dive more into that. Some of these other hybrids, right?
We're just going to do an overview of everything we've discussed, and I might add some other plugins and other things that I've found over the past couple of weeks.
Let's tighten this up and just go quick review to say that, hey, we went out and visited Sacramento WP this week. It was a really fine time. Let's see, we saw some of our friends out there, John Locke, of course, and Brian Bourne, is it? Bourne. And it was really nice because other people recognized us from the show. So people are listening out there, and they're watching the YouTube as well. But we get better credits from the podcast.
They said I was the better looking one, Bill.
We are definitely noticeable when you get to see us firsthand. I'm 5'6". How tall are you, Jonathan?
6 foot.
Yeah. So, and he's from England, America, whatever. So anyway, that was kind of fun. It was good to see people. Really enjoy getting out. Excellent. I'll tell you what, excellent meetup. Hour and a half. They basically took Photoshop and coded it, had it all coded, laid out a page in HTML, and moved it into WordPress and created a child theme. Unbelievable. I can't remember the guy's name who gave it. It was a professor.
No, I can't. But he did a fantastic job, didn't he?
Way over my head, but just really opened up my mind to what could be or what can be done. Basically, there's a course in Lynda. You can go into Lynda. You can learn to do all that through Lynda. And then we had a WordPress meetup last night, and we had Sally, is it Ghost? Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost.
Sally Ghost. It was always nice to have Sally here. We showed her around Reno. Went out to eat dinner the night before. So if you're in town, make sure you look us up. And
yes.
a lot of entertainment right now going on here. So it was really fun. And next month, August, I think we're looking at maybe going to the East Bay meetup. I think August 23rd is the date. Not quite sure what date it is. I think we'll give you a heads up if we're there. So if you're in the East Bay and that's in Oakland,
we're planning to maybe to hit some word camps in September, aren't we, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely. I've already put my heads up for Las Vegas and want to definitely get down to the Southland. So Jonathan, let's close it up. We've gone 25 minutes, I think, 25:11. So that's about the right time. Thank you, folks. Wave goodbye, and we'll stop. This is the end of the podcast, and then we'll be on for a couple seconds on YouTube. Having the right website can be a game changer. It is your platform, and with website hosting, marketing, design, all being critical parts of the equation, it can be a daunting task. But there's good news. You don't have to spend months learning WordPress, list building, and SEO for your podcast website. Get up and running fast. We have the solution. Join Podcasters Home today, and for a limited time, we'll set up your website hosting, list builder, and create a custom podcast website. Go to podcastersHome.com/July or call me at 775-233-8065, and until close of business July 31st, 2015, get 25% off membership and website podcasting services. When you have your website and podcast up and running and you're ready to take it to the next level, as well as reduce the stress of managing your WordPress sites, let Jonathan and his team do all the hard work. Go to WP-Tonic.com/services to see how Jonathan's programs can save you hours each month and keep your WordPress site optimized and up and running smoothly. This podcast has been produced by New Media Gold. New Media Gold and their guests may use this interview in part or full for commercial, educational, and or promotional purposes. It may be reproduced, distributed, and used in future speeches, books, and media by both parties or their assigned. All parties agree to hold harmless each other from claims, damages, or liabilities.